Anaerobic digesters, wholesome dairy, a case study. An anaerobic digester uses anaerobic bacteria in a sealed, heated container to convert organic matter into methane, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen sulfide. This methane can then be purified and burned in an engine, producing heat, and the engine can turn a generator to produce electricity. The digested manure can be separated into solids for bedding and liquid for fertilizer. The reason we do this is that manure can let off methane as it's digested. The methane is 30 times more potent at trapping heat than carbon dioxide, so by burning it, we convert it into carbon dioxide and reduce environmental impacts. There are two major types of digesters. One is a plug flow digester, and the other is a complete mix digester. Plug flows are large in-ground concrete tanks that have agitators that move material down the tank or around through the U, depending on the shape. The ground helps insulate the tank and lowers the heating cost and lowers the construction cost. They then also can have rigid or flexible covers to capture the gas. On the other side is a complete mix digester, which are large steel or concrete tanks that have continuously stirring mechanisms resulting in a faster passage rate. In both these systems, the materials are added anywhere from once a day to every 30 minutes depending on the system, and most of the time the material is heated before it is incorporated into the digester. On this slide, on the left you will see a U-shaped plug flow digester like the one I'll be discussing later in this presentation. On the right is a cutaway of a complete mix digester. Notice the two large screw fans that are protruding into the system that will be continuously turning to mix the digestate. Some benefits of anaerobic digesters are they provide an alternative source of revenue from gas, electricity, tipping fees, and the selling of manure solids. They can also reduce overall costs by providing bedding, heat, and electricity for the farm, as well as the leftover liquid is a more concentrated fertilizer that is more similar to chemical fertilizers than traditional manure. The digester can also improve farm image by reducing odor and providing opportunities to earn carbon credits. Some of the negatives associated with digesters are that they are less feasible at smaller farm sizes due to the fact that they are very expensive at that size on a per cow basis. Most research says that digesters aren't feasible unless you have at least 500 cows. You may also have to change current management practices to fit a digester or install additional equipment to handle current management practices, such as things like sand, because sand will have negative impact on the digestion ability. They also can have high maintenance requirements and sometimes can be prone to long downtimes, which leads to money lost. Lastly, they require management, which means you will have to dedicate time and labor every day to run the digester. Wholesome Dairy in Wisconsin operates two 4,000 cow dairies. Each one of them have a mixed flow plug digester that feeds a 900 kilowatt electric generator. The system is designed to operate at 100 degrees Fahrenheit in a mesophilic range, meaning something around the body heat of a regular animal. In addition to feeding the digester manure, they also feed the digester food waste and wastewater from food processing, which can make up to 30% of the material digested due to a special permit they have. Due to their success with anaerobic digesters, they are awarded the 2016 Innovative Farm of the Year Award by the International Dairy Foods Association, or IDFA. While we will be specifically looking at the economics of their newer U-shaped digester at Elm Dairy, which was completed in 2007. Their first digester, the Irish Road digester, was built in 2002 for about $2 million and proceeded to pay for itself in about 7 years. When the Elm Dairy was constructed, they built a $2.2 million digestion system. On the right is an itemized breakdown of the fixed costs to build that system. The actual digester itself only costs about half of the full system price. The rest is tied up with other essential equipment such as electrical generation, solid separation, and their respective buildings and other equipment. A large unforeseen cost in digester construction is the fee to hook up to the grid, which can make up to 20% of the total cost depending on where you live. All these numbers about this digester came from an article written about the digester management by the Progressive Dairyman in 2013. Variable costs of operating include about $250,000 for maintenance, which in this situation is contracted out to a maintenance firm based on the production and runtime of the electric generators. Manure handling accounts for about 400,000, including spreading and dealing with other solids. We also then have another 115,000 for depreciation, $21,000 for carbon credit fees, which include verification of how many carbon credits they get, and also brokerage fees for the broker who will sell their carbon credits. Other possible unaccounted operating costs can be fuel for the backup boiler, which they have to use during downtime in order to keep the tank at the regulated temperature. The economic positives of this digester are not just the physical revenue brought in, but also the money saved from using byproducts of the process, such as using heat and solids generated. They net $420,000 in electricity as they have a sell-all contract, and they produce an excess of 3 million kilowatt hours per year. Between the savings from using solids as bedding and the bedding they sell to other farms at $15 per ton, they bring in about $254,000 per year just on manure solids. They also process some liquid effluent to make fertilizer, which they then sell, as well as saving fertilizer expenses as the processed liquid is closer to commercial fertilizer than digested manure. The two other major sources of revenue are tipping fees and carbon credits, tipping fees are a fee they receive from taking in food waste and wastewater from food processing facilities and municipalities. Carbon credits are one of the hardest sources for farmers to get access to, as you have to go through brokers and use special equipment to measure their carbon dioxide emissions and measure how much carbon dioxide they do end up saving from emitting into the environment. In the end, the digester at Elm Dairy generates a profit around $600,000 per year, which ends up being a 28% return on investment. In conclusion, digesters can be economical if you are large enough and they are managed correctly. They can help improve your farm's image by becoming more environmentally friendly and reducing odor. They also can help increase storage capacity by creating useful byproducts such as heat, manure, solids, and electricity, which you can sell, as well as allowing access to other revenue sources such as tipping fees and carbon credits.